Welcome everybody in here, out there, and all around the world to another edition of Rainier Books. Award season has started, and very soon the Women's Prize for Fiction will publish their long list. And here is my prediction. The Women's Prize was established in 1996 by a couple of people of the publishing industry, also authors, who were appalled by the fact that the Great Booker Prize had a short list of, I think, five or six authors that year, and all of them were male. And they were of the opinion that the publishing industry favored men. And this is true. This is absolutely true in the long run of the history. Since then, a lot of things have happened, a lot of positive things have happened. And we also got the Women's Prize for Fiction. And soon, on March 7, that is only a couple of days in the future, the Women's Prize will publish its long list for those 16 books, 16 novels that will compete for the Women's Prize of 2023. Compete also for 30,000 British pounds. And here is my prediction for that long list. What books, are you asking, are eligible for the Women's Prize? Well, every woman who writes in English, not regarding her nationality, not regarding the country of residence, her age, or the subject matter, is eligible for the Women's Prize. Novels must be published, though, not in the US, not in Australia, not in New Zealand, not in Canada, not anywhere else where people speak English or English is the first language, but in the United Kingdom. Those books must have been published in the United Kingdom between the 1st of April 2022 and the last of March 2023. So there are books maybe on that list that will be published after March 7, after the long list is announced, within a short period of 24 days. The price is then announced in June, the 14th of June, but before that we are going to get a short list on April 26. March 7, April 26, June 14. And here are my predictions. The first book is a book by a young American writer. She would be probably the youngest author ever been nominated for the Women's Prize. I'm speaking of a young Afro-American woman from Oakland, California. I'm speaking about Leila Mottley and her beautiful novel, Nightcrawling. Nightcrawling was published by Bloomsbury Circus, that is this edition, on June 7, 2022 in the UK. And this is about a 17-year-old Afro-American woman in the city of Oakland, California, who struggles to survive on the streets, and about everything else around this. I tried to make it short, this video. The second book that is on my long list for the Women's Prize is by another American author who has won the Pulitzer before, and her name is Elizabeth Strout. And her novel is called Lucy by the Sea. It was published by Viking on October 6 in 2022. This is a book about an elderly woman who's also a writer of literary fiction, and she tries to survive the worst phase of the pandemics together with her ex-husband, living in a small little house in the state of Maine, at the coast of Maine. Book number 3 is this one here, Kamila Samsie and Best of Friends. This goes to the UK for the first time, and it was published, again, like Nightcrawling, by Bloomsbury Circus on September 27 in 2022. This is a friendship between two women living in today's London, but a friendship that has started decades earlier in Karachi, in Pakistan. And this book takes us to both of these places, to Karachi and to London, and we learn about their stories as teenagers and also as then adult women who are mothers and who have a beautiful career. Great book by Kamila Samsie. All This Could Be Different. That is a book that was also longlisted for the National Book Award in 2022. I think it was also shortlisted, yes it was. And All This Could Be Different by Sarah Thankam Matthews was published in England by WNN on August 4 in 2022. This is a book about a young woman with a background in India. Her parents have returned to India, and her friends in living through the economic crisis, millennials living through the economic crisis of 2008-2009 in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, a book that I enjoyed a lot last year. It was one of my favorite reads, absolutely. I have too many American books on that list, and that's probably what is going to go wrong with my predictions. But anyway, I have 16 beautiful books by women that you could read that is really a good long list. This one is The Candy House by Jennifer Egan, also from the United States. And this was published in England by Corsair on April 28 in 2023. 22. Is it possible to access all the memories that you ever had in your life, from early childhood on? To have them preserved somewhere on a hard disk and to trade them with other people is one of the questions that this novel, The Candy House by Jennifer Egan, explores. It's a moving testament to the tenacity and transcendence of human longing for connection, family, privacy, and love. The next author comes from Canada. She is a very productive author. She is an award-winning author. This is Emily St.John Mandel. I love that beautiful name, Emily St.John Mandel. Sounds like poetry, Emily. This book was published by Picador on April 28 in 2022, and not for the first time, Emily St.John Mandel takes us on a very special journey with her writing, a journey through centuries, even through space, to solve a mystery that will make you question everything you thought you knew to be true. Isn't that interesting? Number 7. She had a very first successful novel, and now she wrote her second. There was a lot of expectation around this novel as the second novel. This is People Person by Candice Carty-Williams, and the second novel that comes from the UK on my list, published by Trapeze on April 28 in 2022. Dimple Pennington, what a beautiful name again, is a London lifestyle influencer with a terrible and wayward boyfriend, feeling alone in this world. In come her half-siblings Nikisha, Danny, Lizzie, and Prince. They all must reconnect with their absent Brixton father. This is London again. And number 8 comes from Nigeria. This is Things They Lost by Okwiri Oduor, published by One World on April 14 in 2022. Wandering Spirit Ayosa and a bunch of other fascinating characters from the intersection of the spirit world and the human world. In a story about connection, coming of age, and the dizzying dualities of love and friendship at its most intoxicating and all-encompassing. Canada again, Canada and the US probably both. Fight Night by Miriam Toews, published by Faber and Faber on June the 2nd in 2022. Poignant, hilarious and deeply moving, Fight Night is a girl's love letter to the women raising her and a tribute to one family's fighting spirit, is the very short summary what gives us this novel. Number 10 is To Fill a Yellow House by Sussie Anie, published by Phoenix on July 7, 2022. This is the story of an unexpected friendship between a young boy and an elderly widower in London. Lyrical, witty, moving, and timely, To Fill a Yellow House is a story of community, friendship, and the power of creativity and connection. It is as vibrant and surprising as the city it is set in and marks the arrival of a bright and bold new talent. Usually big prizes like the Women's Prize don't go to winners of other big prizes. Usually the juries are sort of fixing the thing that not one novel, one book wins it all. But this novel has already won 2 awards. Among them, the National Book Award for Fiction in 2022. I'm speaking, of course, about The Rabbit Hutch by Tess Gunty, which is a debut novel. The Rabbit Hutch by Tess Gunty. This is set in the fictitious town of Vacaville in Indiana, which is a very, very poor town. This novel circles around the residence of a rundown apartment building, and it's, says the publisher, a savagely beautiful and bitingly funny snapshot of contemporary America. A gorgeous and provocative tale of loneliness and longing, entrapment, and ultimately freedom. This is in the data world, in the games world, and this is Gabrielle Zevin's novel Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. Published by Chatto and Windus in the UK on July 14 in 2022. The story of the friendship and love between two game creators in their prime and years later. The story of the perfect world Sadie and Sam built, the imperfect world they live in, and of everything that comes after success. Money, fame, duplicity, tragedy. Number 13 is hopefully not an unlucky number for the next author. She is born in Zambia. She lives in the United States. And this is another American book published by Hogarth on August 25 in 2022. 12-year-old Carty-Williams loses her little brother Wayne, who is missing ever since. As she grows older, she sees the face of her brother everywhere. Then, one day, there's another accident, and she meets a man both mysterious and familiar, a man who's also searching for someone, as well as his own place in the world. His name is Wayne. The Furrows is a bold exploration of memory and mourning that twists unexpectedly into a masterful story of mistaken identity, slippery reality, black experience, and the wishful and sometimes willful longing for reunion with those we've lost. 14 on that long list is Celeste, Egan, and Our Missing Hearts, another American title published by Abacus on October 4 in 2022. I think I bought this in Gothenburg last year, or was it in Stockholm? I don't remember, but pretty much after it was published. Haven't finished it though yet. 12-year-old Bert Gardner grows up without his mother in a dystopian America, an America that has sort of tried to get rid of all Asian American influence in that country because it's a kind of dictatorship that has found that Asian Americans are guilty of everything bad in the country. One day, the boy receives a letter with a drawing that can only come from his mom. Our Missing Hearts is an old story made new of the ways supposedly civilized communities can ignore the most searing injustice. It's about the lessons and legacies we pass on to our children and the power of art to create change. I'm really proud of that list. Absolutely. I'm proud of that list. It's a great list. And number 15, two more to go, is a book that so many people have raved about. I haven't read it yet, but I have it here. You know what it is when I sort of reach it up like this. It's Demon Copperhead by a former winner of the Women's Prize, BarbaraKingsolver. Also American. Well, okay, that's probably the moment when I fall on my prediction here because it's too much American. I admit, I confess. This was published by Faber and Faber on October 18 last year. The story of a boy born to a teenage single mother in a single white trailer with no assets beyond his dead father's good looks and copper-colored hair, a caustic wit, and a fierce talent for survival. In transposing a Victorian epic, David Copperfield by Charles Dickens, to her own place and time, BarbaraKingsolver enlists Dickens's anger and compassion, and above all his faith in the transformative powers of a good story. Demon Copperhead speaks for a new generation of lost boys and all those born into beautiful cursed places they can't imagine leaving behind. And last but not least, also an award-winning author already. She was nominated for the National Book Award a few years ago, but she also has won other awards, I think the Pulitzer. Lydia, Millet, and Dinosaurs is the last book on my shortlist, published by W.W. Norton on October 11, 2022. This is the story of an Arizona man's relationship with a family next door, whose house has one wall made entirely out of glass. The story delivers attraction and love, friendship and grief, but Millet also evokes the uncanny. Through close observation of human and animal life in the desert, she captures the daunting scale of human society without losing sight of the real difference one person can make in the world. This completes my list, my prediction for the long list for the Women's Prize in 2023. Tell me all about your favorite books by women published in the UK between April 1, 2022 and March 31, 2023. Please drop those titles in the comments down below. All the books that I didn't mention because I simply forgot them or they didn't turn up on my radar. Thanks very much for watching this video. Subscribe to the channel, leave comments, leave likes, and help this beautiful and amazing channel. I'm a very modest person to grow. Thank you very much and goodbye.